Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Sanssouci. Let's check it out. To set up for the game, each player is going to get their own player board. They're going to get their 9 little meeples. You can play the game plain Jane or play with this little mini expansion that comes with the game. Basically, these are double-sided boards that give you pluses and minuses for placing certain tiles on them. I would say go ahead and play it like this because the plain Jane game is fun, but this one makes it a little bit more exciting and gives you more abilities to make points, and there's interesting decisions on it. But anyway, each player will have their own deck. Each player has the same type of cards as everyone else, but they're going to shuffle their cards so they will come out differently. They're going to get this little round tracker here. The little square goes on 0. If they pass it once, they'll have this card to flip over again if they pass it a second time, which you might be able to do. And then you're going to shuffle all these little tiles here and then place 2 tiles in each one of the areas in the middle of the board. Now, I should mention that these tiles have the Roman numerals 2, 3, and 4 on them. That means if it's a 3-player game, you'd add the Roman numeral 3 tiles. If it's a 4-player game, you'd add the Roman numeral 4 tiles to the game. Here I've just set up for a 2-player game. Also, you're going to shuffle this deck and give out 2 of these cards to each player. Basically, this is going to be giving them bonus points for any of the areas that they complete. They'll be able to count these scores again a second time at the end of the game. Now, these are secret, so you don't want to let anyone know which ones are yours. And each picture represents the different tiles, different rows that you can have here. There's like mazes, statues, gazebos, forest here, little rock garden here, rose arches here, fountains here, stairs here, and I can't remember what this is called now. Fancy cut trees. I can't remember. Obviously, I'm not a gardener. Anyway, so what you're doing every turn is very simple. You're drawing 2 cards into your hand and you're picking one of them. Now, these cards can be anything. They can be, hey, get a particular resource. You can get a fountain from one of these areas, or, you know, a tree thing or a statue. Or it says, hey, draw any of the tiles from the orange or the blue area. As you see, we have the blue and orange area. This card here is a wild card. It lets you draw from any of those. And so what you're going to do is you're going to, let's say these were my 2 cards. I could pick that tree in that gray area, or I could pick anything in the orange or the blue. So let's say I play this card here, and I want this staircase tile. So I get the staircase tile. Now, since I got it from blue, I must play it on blue here. So I can't just play it up here. I have to play it on blue. So if I played it, it'd be right down here. Now, that probably wouldn't be a good move. Hopefully, I would be able to get a staircase from the white area, because if I was, I could put it right here on white. And then the second thing you can do, and you can always do this at the end of your turn, is move one of your nobles down. And you want to move them as far down on the board as you can. And they can go as far down as there are tiles available. So this noble could have gone right down here, and I would have gotten 2 points. As you see on the board, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now later on, if I was to get this tile, but this is in blue, so I'd have to place it in blue, but let's say it was in the gray area, I could put it here. I get a bonus 3 points for placing it there, and then later on move my guy down again and get another 3 points. So that's how points are scored in the game. Of course, you're trying to complete these rows here. Of course, as you see, when you're trying to adjust and put in the rows for the colors, that's going to be a little bit harder to do. But you're going to be playing a card, one of your 2 cards, then drawing back up to 2, and then replacing the tile on the board with the one you just got. So I got that from there, I think. So I just replace it like that. And then the next player would go, and you'd keep going around and round as players are slowly filling out their board and moving their nobles down. Now, there could come a time where you have to pick a tile that you don't need. For instance, let's say that I was going to take this white statue here and play it on my board. Well, I have to play it on the white statue. Oh man, I already have a white statue there. Well, what do I do? This thing is worthless. No, I can flip it around back to its original part here, and it can be a gardener. Now, gardeners can go anywhere. Like, for instance, since it's a statue, it would have gone here. I flip it over, it's a gardener. It can go anywhere orthogonally this way, horizontally or vertically on this row. So anywhere down here or across here, I can put it if I want to. And there is a advantage to this, because gardeners, even though nobles may pass through gardener tokens, they can't end their turn on one. So a guy couldn't end his turn on there. He wouldn't want to be caught dead with a gardener. But let's say I can place it anywhere across this way. I put it down here. Well, in this case, that would allow this noble to pass through here and make it to that gazebo and score me 3 points. You could also put it here, down right here as well, for some reason. Let's say I could only play it here or here. Well, I plant it right here. In that case, this noble may still move down. He can move into someone else's lane. See, all the roads connect here, as long as he can make it back into his lane at the end. So he could even skip that tile, move all the way around, plant there, and get 3 points. So gardeners are good to move your nobles around certain areas that you just can't get to. And again, there are certain areas on this little special tile where if I place my gardener there, I would get a bonus 3 points. Of course, there's some places where you would get negative points as well for putting things down. But that's what would happen if you came across a tile that you already had on your board. You could just flip it over and make it a gardener and put it anywhere like that. So the game would keep going like that until everyone has completely exhausted their entire deck of cards. After that, it's the end game. You'd add up any bonus points from these bonus cards you received at the beginning of the game, and then you would also add up any bonus points on your board. For instance, for every vertical row you have completed, like you put a tile, whether it's a gardener or just a regular, whatever regular tile on there, you would get 5 victory points. And if you finish anything horizontally, you would get 10 bonus points minus the amount listed on the row. Of course, row number 1 doesn't count because it's already pre-filled. So for instance, if I finish row 2, I would get 10 points minus 2 is 8. Here I get 7, 6, 5, and 4 points if I completed all that. Again, you'd add up all the points on the board there, and whoever has the most points wins. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, I think I need to know more gardening terms, because I don't know what any of these things are. Hedges or trees or whatever. But to be honest, I do enjoy the game. It's very simple. It's easy to play. Play a card and try to fit it on that tile board as best you can, and try to arrange it to where you can get your nobles in as far down as you can. Now, just like every game, in my opinion, it goes way too short. You're not going to be able to finish out the garden. Don't even, worry yourself about that. But placing where to place and how to get your nobles down, and you are maneuvering through those gardens and trying to put those gardeners in just the right spot to move your people down even more and kind of cheat that system to get a few more points. The game is a lot of fun and very balanced, to be honest. I will say that. We never really had a runaway leader really problem. I think the biggest division of wins was less than 10 between first and last place. So that was kind of neat. So unless someone's like really just completely lost on what to get here, you're going to have a close game every time. It's a fun, simple game. It doesn't say how long it takes, but to be honest, I think I did a 2 version that took about 15 minutes. 3 players can take about, it was under 30 minutes, I remember. So it was like 20, 25 minutes. And then 4 players, I think we crested the 30-minute mark just barely. But it's a quick game. And that's if everyone knows the rules, which are very simple at first. So the game goes fairly quick. And it is kind of tile placement, and I do enjoy that. So for what it's worth, yes, I think you should get the game. It is very cheap online to get as well, even though I think it may be out of print. But still a cheap game, but a very fun game to have. So that's my review on it. All right, folks, that's it for now. Until next time, learn some gardening techniques.